Recently, apart from the usual names that have been circulating through the rumor mill, we've recently had another trickle in that's a pretty big one. And with that being said, since I enjoy keeping things fresh and as interesting as possible, we're going to go over a few familiar names with different destinations and talk about the newest kid on the trade block. Well, not exactly a kid these days, but you get the picture. And with that, here are 4 NHL players that are on the trade block and where they could end up. Recently, news broke that Duncan Keith had requested a trade on his own accord. The defenseman, who represents part of the diminishing core that once won 3 Stanley Cups, has reportedly wanted out of the Windy City in order to be close to his son, who lives in Western Canada. Keith, who has been on the decline as of late, recorded 15 points after 54 games played last season. The Hawks, who will be looking to make changes moving forward, will be doing so while trying to accommodate Keith, who has a no-move clause on his contract. With that being said, his son Colton lives in the British Columbia area, therefore, with Vancouver most likely out of the question, there's the possibility of Seattle taking the 2-time Norris winner as well. But currently, it's looking like, according to multiple sources, including The Athletic, that the Edmonton Oilers are the top candidate interested in Keith's services. The Oilers, who will be looking to solidify the left position on the second pairing for the start of the season, are viewing Keith as a possible solution. As according to The Athletic, Oscar Klefbom's agent JP Barry has indicated that the defenseman's recovery from shoulder surgery could prevent him from game action at the start of the next season. While Keith is definitely not in his prime anymore, if he's playing a lesser role and not eating up an average of 25 minutes per game, his play could improve. Since Jack Eichel's name has been in the trade talks for longer than most, we've had a long time to propose and assess multiple destinations that could work for the Sabres captain. While Anaheim is looking to be the top destination at this moment, I thought it would be interesting and fun to explore yet another possibility with the Vegas Golden Knights. I think anyone who observed the Knights this postseason, especially in the 3rd round, could realize that the team was in need of a top-caliber center. Sure, Mark Stone is an amazing two-way player, and Max Pacioretty can score, but Chandler Stevenson as a first-line center going up against NHL stars probably isn't the best scenario to have. Therefore, for Kelly McCrimmon, a first-line center has to be the main priority moving forward, as Vegas is a team that's in win-now mode and still has a lot to offer. Inserting Eichel into the lineup would give the team a very potent first line and up their competitive edge for sure. Now, it's well known that Kevin Adams is asking for reportedly 6 pieces for the former 2nd overall pick, and aside from this cap gymnastics that would be in full swing in order to take on the $10 million cap hits, giving Buffalo some pieces such as Riley Smith, and Chandler Stevenson to start, amongst others, would allow for Eichel to seamlessly slot in up top and for Alex Tuch to move up in the lineup. The only hindrance that could keep a trade from happening is the fact that the Knights don't have many top prospects to offer, if that's what Adams is targeting. Even still, for Eichel, it has to be one team he'd be happy to go to, as they're a cup contender who will definitely be in the postseason picture again very soon. Similarly to Vegas, the Blue Jackets have been lacking at the top center position for a hot minute, since they parted ways with the last disgruntled player to ask out of Columbus and Dubois. And, as we witnessed, despite trying to make Max Domi Dubois' replacement, the plan went sideways fast, and the Jackets season reflected that amongst other issues. And even if CBJ did want Domi at center up front, he might not be available for the start of the 2021-22 season due to shoulder surgery, according to the Athletic's Aaron Portzline. Therefore, as Kekalainen will be making some tough decisions this offseason, one of them will be choosing an adequate player for center. While names such as Eichel, Sam Reinhart, and Nolan Patrick are reportedly available, one player that could fit in nicely with the Jackets is Sean Monahan. Why? Well, besides the obvious need, even without Domi on the IR, the Jackets have the cap space to take on Monahan's $6.125 million cap hit. Monahan, who had a rough go of it last season, wasn't quite himself statistically before being sidelined due to hip surgery. While he does have a modified no-move clause on his contract, the prospect of potentially playing with Patrick Laine, Tortorella being gone, in a smaller market might be enticing enough for Monahan to bite. Monahan, who is in his prime at 26, will most likely be coming back highly motivated and ready for redemption. He also plays a pretty balanced two-way game, which would mesh well with the Jackets system. Speaking of Columbus, there's been an interesting scenario that could very well take place this offseason. As Duncan Keith will most likely be moved, there's going to be an opening on the back end. Now, if Chicago can somehow secure Caleb Jones, Seth's brother, in the trade, it would be a huge incentive for the defenseman not to have the Hawks as one of the teams on his list that he can't be traded to. Even though Chicago will be focusing on clearing space for their captain's return, taking on the Jones contract for its final season wouldn't be much different than keeping Keith's contract on the books. Aside from one more year on his deal, Keith has a very similar cap hit of $5.5 million compared to Jones's at $5.4. Therefore, if Jones were to join the Blackhawks, they would be getting a younger replacement with a longer reach still in his prime. Chicago also has some prospects to offer which could catch Kekäläinen's eye and allow for a trade to take place.